So what you're seeing is all problems.
Right.
Think little differently. Think differently. This is an opportunity to add some new skills to your management portfolio.
Right.
Right. Later it will help you. Right. And see how many opportunities we are presenting you to learn something new and address these problems. Right. These are the business challenges you will have the rest of your life in this company or that company. Right.
Nice.
So make most out of this opportunity. And I learned a big lesson out of that. Change your lens. Don't look things as problem, things as an opportunity where you can go and make a difference.
Hey, hello. Happy to have you on another session of Bold BAE. We have someone really special with us, Mr. Abhay Salpekar. So, to add up about what he's been doing and where he has gotten to, he is a man uh, who started off his studies with NIT Raipur, and then he went on to do his studies with different universities, with like global universities, and like his career scales from being an engineering director for Snowflakes and then working with uh, Anomaly, and now he's working with Deep Neural. A passionate leader who has a startup mindset and who's very supportive in terms of startups and the ecosystem, and like he's a systems person from whatever I could learn about him, and he's very composed and calm. So we are going to have like loads and loads of learnings today from Mr. Abhay Salpekar. Thank you so much for coming on the show, sir. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Tony, and thanks for such an introduction.
Sir,
Go ahead.
I've always seen that. I get curious with this. You have gone on to doing a lot of courses in the first place. Like, I mean, you didn't stop learning at all. So, what what is that mindset that you have when it comes to learning? Like, I assume you're still learning something.
Yes, so one thing I will tell you in this industry, or for that matter in any career, right? So learning should not stop. It's lifetime learning. So degrees and diplomas, they are byproducts.
Right.
The main goal is to acquire as much as knowledge you can acquire on various fields, and particularly more deeper knowledge in the area where you are working in, right? And that was one of the reasons. So I'm still pursuing few things. So one of the things I generally stick to, every 2 to 3 years, I should have some qualifications added, not necessarily from piece of paper point of view.
Right.
So that forces you to kind of, formally learn something new.
True. Agreed.
And that helped me to stay up to date with whatever is happening in this industry, at least until now. So that's the whole reason.
Interesting, sir. So like I see a clear mix of management degrees, which is into business directions, leadership, entrepreneuring, and on the flip side, you are like having a continuous learning in tech as well. And
Mhm.
I see a lot of people acknowledging you as a leader on the public forums. Like I remember this post on which a lot of people are like very happy about what you're doing, and they are happy to see you grow big. So um, why did you end up or how did you end up thinking that that needs to be a balance between management and tech?
It's a question you are asking, right? And many people will have that kind of question in that sense, how do you manage it? But let me tell you something. I started my career in more or less in management profession. I started earlier as a management trainee, right? And I was more tuned towards management from day one. Though I had engineering background, I had interest in engineering. So by heart, I was an engineer, but by profession, I was in management profession, right? But then I was lucky enough that I always got to manage technical teams. I always worked for computer manufacturers in that sense, either they are hardware manufacturers, software manufacturers. When I started my career, there was no software industry as such. Those were the companies which were integrated companies. They used to make their own hardware, their own software, their own databases, end-to-end solution.
Right.
So once you get into that kind of environment, you get exposed to technology, whether you like it or not. Right?
Got it.
So I was fortunate enough from that sense to get into that space at the right moment when transition was happening from mainframes to mini, super mini, distributed computing in that space. So I would say I was lucky in that sense. And then once you are in that kind of situation where your profession is more of a management profession, but you are working with technologists, so you're forced to learn technology as well.
Right.
And I will tell you, this is critical for leaders of the day. They cannot say, I'm pure play manager and I don't know anything about technology. That's not going to work. You're going to manage technical people, should be able to understand their language, should be able to translate strategy in a way where they can understand. Right? So that is the key. One would be successful. And I would say in different terms, leaders of today need to learn on riding on two horses at the same time, one leg on one horse's back and other leg on other horse's back and winning the race.
Right.
You just cannot say, I'm just riding on management horse and I will win the race. You will never. Right. So this is a key skill that people need to learn. And if you have a learning mindset, this is not difficult. You live in that kind of ecosystem that you're forced to learn technology and then you keep on practicing management. You would be able to do it.
That has evolved you in a lot of ways that I can clearly see. But let's get back to your early days. Like you have gotten started with your career in your mid 80s. I mean, mid 80s, you got your started with your career. So how did access to technology look like back then? Because you primarily started from India. And how did access to technology look like back then?
Good that you reminded me of my age. Thanks. So I'll tell you, in 80s,
sorry about that.
Scenario was very different, right? So I think most of the major computer companies were asked to go out of India in mid 70s around that time frame, right? So there was a vacuum.
Right.
IBM was gone out and other companies were out. So when that was with the intention that, there'll be self-reliance on that space in India itself, right? So a lot of new companies showed up at that time. You probably would know CMC, CMS, SCL, Wipro, all these companies started. One big company was that ORG, so from Sarabhai. Probably many people wouldn't know about that also, but that was also a very well-recognized company at that time. So access to compute environment was difficult. There were not that many, and then particularly for students and early career engineers was difficult. But I would say I was fortunate in that sense also, since I studied in Raipur Engineering College. Bhilai Steel Plant was very close by, right? And Bhilai Steel Plant had a very big EDP, Electronic Data Processing Center. That's what data center used to get called at that time.
Great.
And they had Burroughs mainframe that time over there.
Okay.
And many of my classmates were from that area.
Right.
And actually, the engineering training also I took from that plant,
right.
which was a mandatory training at that time. So I got exposed to that. And then certainly you will be interested in what goes on. The systems which were out there, those were the punch card systems, probably. So that is a rare thing.
Right.
But those were the things at that time, right? So started from there, and then certainly I got into this space. Not something I thought that I will end up in computer industry, but it just happened. The opportunity popped up, and I got there. So SCL came to Raipur for campus.
Okay.
Interview, and they interviewed many people, and then they selected me. I did not have much idea what SCL does at that moment. I would be honest. And
right.
I went there, and then they sent me to XLRI also. Right? So that was their training program for management training. So I went there, came back, and then I only lasted a small amount of time there for 3-4 months or so. And then I got another opportunity in Texas Instruments.
Okay.
So moved on. Obviously, for early stage engineers, money also matters. So Texas Instruments so package was 4 to 5 times higher than anywhere you would get in industry out there in EMEA region. So moved on. And that was a time when all these multinationals were hiring from India.
Right.
They started recognizing there is some talent, not fully utilized, because not much of IT industry was out there. So got in that, and then the journey started, right? So it's not that I intentionally wanted to go to this company or that company. It just popped up. I joined there and enjoyed where I was. I've seen a lot of waves forming out there in the industry after that. So that's the early career of mine, how I ended up in this industry.
Great, interesting, sir. So, like, one other thing that's getting me curious is that, like, how old were you when you saw computer for the first time?
I would say I was in my engineering fourth year. We used to have 5-year course there.
Okay.
So, and I'm pretty sure you're also from Raipur.
Yeah.
You may not be aware or even seen. So there was a mainframe company called Bull Computers in Europe,
Okay.
right?
No. Yeah.
So in India, they started uh, deploying their systems through PSI data systems,
Okay.
right? And a small size computer showed up in Raipur.
Nice.
And just saw that it was just a curiosity of what it is and whatnot, right? And I studied electrical engineering, right? So with electrical engineering, you get exposed to more on electronics side also. There was no computer science as a discipline fully established out there at that point in time. So people were more interested in getting to electronics, and if you want to do specialization further, masters, you used to go to microelectronics and those kind of things.
Got it.
So with that, got some exposure there, and then that's how things started, right? And the rest is, whatever comes in your way, you start.
And post that, when did you get to meddle with the computer? Like,
so at the age would be around 19 years, I would say.
got it. So, I mean, that's when you got to meddle with the computer for the first time.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And okay, interesting. So, like, have you ever, I mean, did you ever think that you will, like, I mean, because I can see that HCL hired you and they put you in XLRI for a management training.
Yes.
So they could see the leader in you early on.
I would say whether they saw a leader in me or not, the way HCL was out there at that point in time was a very visionary company. They were very clear they want to build something big.
Right.
Right. And to build something big, they realized that they had to build a bench of managers.
Right.
Right. And what they did, they hired engineers with some potential in management and put them through the management training part of it. Right. So that they can be molded and they will have a good bench strength on management so that they can grow further.
Right.
I still remember that time when I joined SCL. SCL was a very small company, I think 250 to 300 people at the most. The founders had very clear vision. They want to build something big and they will require managers for that. And that's how and then you'll see during that time, a lot of companies were started by ex-SCL people. Right?
Just how they have the Flipkart mafia and Amazon mafia. I think it was the HCL mafia that came out.
Yeah. So that's how things were there. But then, I got exposed to computers somewhat fairly, I would say at that point in time, a bit an early stage. The curiosity was out there. And to add to that, one of my elder cousin was working in Burroughs. So you get
Nice.
stories from them also, what Burroughs is, what is it, what they're doing. So certainly interest goes out there to find it out, what is in there. And I would say there's some things keep on happening. I mean, the industry was growing and I grew with the industry. It's not that I intentionally wanted to jump company from here to there.
So, if you don't mind me asking, like, if you can comment a bit about your family, like, what was your father, your mother, and your siblings? I think.
Right. So, my father was in government service, right? So, and my mother was a homemaker, right? And I have a younger brother who is also from Raipur. and he's also in this industry. He's a hardcore research and development person, and he actually did a lot of fundamental work writing the core engine of Oracle and those kind of things.
Nice.
Right? So he's in that space. Right? So, and just he followed me.
Good for him.
So this is how things happened, right? So, and that's all. We are two brothers, and now my wife is a doctor. She is a pediatrician, and now Judy and I have a son who works for Apple on AI space, and our daughter-in-law works for Microsoft.
So it's like, I mean, your wife would be the odd man out if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, that's there. Yeah.
Because I mean, do you discuss tech at home? Like, because all three.
No, we don't discuss anything work related at home.
Right.
The reason being, she wouldn't have any interest in what I'm talking about, and I won't have any interest about the patient's history and what patients are going through. So we avoid those discussions. So we just maintain that home is home. We only discuss about the homely things at home.
So, like, I mean, very often I come across people who complain about lack of resources, even now. So, what is your take on that? Do you see them underestimating the access they have to resources, or they are not able to see the right things, right resources in the things that are around them? What is your take on
So, you are saying today, right? In today's environment, we see lack of resources.
Yeah.
I don't think there are lack of resources. There are plenty of resources out there. It's just matter of time and your skills. You should be able to find resources. If there are resources, what you need right now are not readily available, you should be able to find latent potential in the resource. Can he deliver? Right. Can slide grooming will help you to get what you want, right? So I don't think there is any situation either in US or in India there are short of resources. There are plenty of resources available, plenty of opportunities. If you start seeing from a different angle, you'd say this is a problem, that is a problem, the right skills are not there, or that is whatnot. But you see that as an opportunity. If you see things as an opportunity, there are plenty of opportunity to kind of, get things done from people. One key thing I will tell you, which is my philosophy on management point of view, an extraordinary leader is a leader who can deliver extraordinary results with ordinary resources.
Right.
If you got all extraordinary resources, why do you need extraordinary leader? Any ordinary leader can ensure that results are extraordinary, right? So I wouldn't say that there is a shortage of resources in any area as of today. You need to find the right place, right kind of people who either you can groom quickly. So you should be able to get to the results.
Right. So, like, I think you are looking at the US market when it comes to startups, and you are in a place where it's like super happening, the Silicon Valley. So, have you like consistently compared what is happening between Silicon Valley and India? Excuse me.
In my opinion, I would say even from late 80s, I've seen India is a place with a lot of entrepreneurial talent.
Right.
Right. So, but then we had a mindset of, middle class. We won't like to take risk.
True.
We always want to play in comfort zone, and that kind of, costs us in a big way. But I think in some portions of India also, at that point in time also, the major metropolitan areas, people were taking big chances. In Pune, Mumbai, that space which I was more familiar with, and Delhi also. I mean, a lot of engineers were starting their companies,
right,
taking chances. So that spirit was always there in India, and still it is out there.
Yeah.
Right now, I think government has made it more easy to get funding and those kind of things. So those people who were kind of, on sidelines, should I get into or should I not? Right? If I fail, then what would happen? right? I mean, that is typical middle class thinking, right?
Yeah.
Now people are taking those chances. They are taking those chances because rewards are high, very high,
True.
if you are successful, right? So, and I have seen many who, they failed their first couple of attempts in their entrepreneurial journey, but they learned a lot, and later they became successful. So that's in India side. And US, obviously, in Silicon Valley, people breathe that.
Right.
You go out for any team get together or friendly meet, people will just keep on talking about what are you doing, and what is happening in this space. This company is doing that. Can we do it? Can we do it better? Those conversations will always be happening. And I'm pretty sure that is happening in India also. So it's just a matter of time. In the next couple of decades, India, I mean, this is a bold statement, might surpass US also.
Right.
In terms of innovation. So right now in India, focus is more on service sector.
Yeah.
Yeah, but soon things would change, and I see that is happening. They are getting into the product side of it.
Right.
So that certainly will help in near future.
So, like, you have seen a lot of companies from its early stage, starting from HCL. And
Yeah.
that is this aspect of you have your management lens and your technical
Mhm.
lens.
Yeah.
So, what are certain precursors that that you have seen in companies?
Mhm.
Like, I mean, you might have come across a bunch of companies. What are those precursors that you think will help you understand that this company will definitely make it big? Maybe you would have ended up misinterpreting a bunch of it, but what are
No,
those
I
precursors
think,
that you look?
I think you're asking the right question here. So first of all, whenever you're trying to do something, or building a product or building a service or service as a product, you should be solving some real problem which is out there.
Right.
You should be able to recognize that this is a problem you're going to solve. Or the other way, you're trying to create something which will help people later in the future. They are not aware that this is their need or going to be a need. Right. So you should be able to identify that. If you're not able to identify that and you're just doing something for the sake of doing, right, that something won't last long. Right. So certainly when you do some kind of business or get into entrepreneurial journey, you want to get some financial returns. You're not just doing for the sake of doing it, right?
Right.
And you will have financial returns only when you're solving for something or creating something new, which will help people later in their journey or in their lives, right? So something should be more creative, and that identifying those opportunities, you need a different kind of lens.
Right.
And India, I would say, based on the population or whatever you say, you turn anywhere, there are plenty of opportunity
Right.
to do something with less capital.
Yeah, true.
So somebody has to have that drive that I'm going to do it. Or if you go into that bandwagon, I need a government service and I want to kind of, just stay focused on that with the lifetime security of income. That would be there, but it would be very limited.
Right.
So that's what I would say, opportunities are out there.
I think I'll split the question more. I'll go
Sure.
deep into it. You might have come across leaders who made it big in the industry, and
Mhm.
you would have like gotten to work with them as well. So,
Yeah.
what are certain qualities that these leaders that end up winning?
So one thing I will say, right, you never go in doing something that I want to become something big or whatnot. That shouldn't be your focus. Your focus should be, are you doing something which will make some impact somewhere? The rest of the things will fall in place on its own, right? So I wouldn't hesitate to say some people wanted, I will, become VP, I will become CEO, and they were highly focused on that. They never succeeded.
Okay.
These are the things which fall in your place. If you do something which makes an impact on current business where you're working, people recognize that you really made an impact and things happen for you.
Got it.
Right? So do the work. Don't think what will come and how you will get rewarded. You will get rewarded, that's for sure. Right? So people who succeeded, at least people who I have seen, they never went in that spirit that I want this just because I want it.
Right.
So it's not. They did something which led to what they got.
Right. So I think like the focus should be on things. Primarily, it's about solving a problem. Like if it's going to be a startup.
Solving a problem, and if that problem is getting solved with some solution today, try to see if you can improve that solution, or if you can improve that service, or you can improve that approach. That makes an impact in a way that either you're doing this at a very low cost with more efficiency, right? And business recognizes that.
Correct.
It's not that you have to come out with every time you have to come out with something new.
Right.
I mean, the opportunities are out there. The way things are happening today, see, can you improve it and improve significantly?
I think that is this obsession in people saying, I only have to do something new. Like if it's not new, then it's not going to succeed. What is your take on that? Like how should people act?
No, it's not right. So I will tell you, let's get into the current company,
Yeah.
Deep Neural. So we knew cybersecurity is a very lucrative, very big market segment. We also knew there are many players. Many players will come also later in the future also, right? But then there are existing problems. Can we solve those problems in a better way? Somebody else is solving, that's good. But can we do much better way, significantly in a different way, where customers see more value, right? So I would say you don't have to come out with something new. You have to always innovate in the approach. Or if you can get into a new product, nothing better than that also. But then keep that in mind. You're doing something meaningful, right? So it's not that you have to go and do. In India also, I say that I mean, in service sector also, there are a lot of companies today.
Yeah.
Right. But still, there is an opportunity for some more companies to come and disrupt. So there is all possibility. Innovation can take place to address the current problem in a different way also.
So like I mean, is there a different lens in people of founders that are there in Silicon Valley? Like, do they literally look at it, things differently? Be it the problem or be it the scaling of a startup. So what is it like primarily?
Yeah, thinking is little different. And one thing I will tell you is that you need that kind of ecosystem out there where you can throw ideas in front of somebody and he reflects.
Right.
And when you start throwing those ideas informally in a group of people who can give you candid feedback, right? So that really helps in Bay Area ecosystem in Silicon Valley, right? So every time you discuss with somebody will say, you're wasting your time. That's honest feedback, right? Think differently. Right. Good feedback, right? So it's up to you. You accept it or you keep on doing it. No harm in that, right? So probably the feedback was very narrow feedback based on what they thought. But then you have one more input to consider, right? So that's something I would say, a little different here.
So like one other thing that I kind of see is that every company should have been different. Every opportunity that was put in front of you would have been different. Like what was that company or that opportunity that you found the most interesting, and the most exciting? So
I will tell you, every opportunity which I got, whether I was looking for that or it just showed up, was interesting. I always found something to do there, something that I can make a difference. So that's how the thinking should be, and that is what helped me. And my mentors, I mean, it's not that I did not have mentors. I had a lot of people who guided me on various times. They also told me, I will tell you, in one company I went there, and I was finding it very difficult to manage people.
Okay.
Because most of them were at least 15 to 20 years older than me.
Okay. Interesting.
And they were hardcore technical people, had their PhDs and whatnot, right? And they used to have lifetime employment kind of opportunities in that company. And I was brought in People wanted some business-minded person who has got some technical exposure also. And I went there and I was finding, managing these people, they were, hardcore people in their space and hard-minded.
Right.
They had their PhDs in whatnot, and this is how it should be. But you see, from business point of view, it's a good idea, but not necessarily is going to help business. Right? So I reached out to my manager there, and I said, probably I'm in the wrong place. He said, Abhay, what you're seeing is all problems. You're seeing all problems.
Solve for
Think
it.
little differently. Think differently. This is an opportunity to add some new skills to your management portfolio.
Right.
Right. Later it will help you. Right. And see how many opportunities we are presenting you to learn something new and address these problems. Right. These are the business challenges you will have the rest of your life in this company or that company. Right.
Nice.
So make most out of this opportunity. And I learned a big lesson out of that. Change your lens. Don't look things as problem, things as an opportunity where you can go and make a difference. Right. So I would say that's how things have helped me in that sense.
Got it, sir. So, like, you're liking the flow of it. I'm just.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, like, okay, now staying relevant. Like, I mean, I understand your day will be very tight, hectic, at times, or it would have been hectic during your past and things like that. But what do you do consistently to stay relevant in the first place?
Okay, so I will tell you one thing which has helped me, anticipating on technology space, what could happen,
Right.
which wave would get formed, right? And I will elaborate a little bit on my early career also, right? How waves have formed, and I closely was observing. So first, as I said, the integrated companies, right?
Right.
And later came database wars. When it was integrated companies, the waves were forming and the wars were happening, faster CPU. Motorola came, IBM had Spark CPUs, right? Faster CPUs, faster compute, right? So those waves got formed. And when you are riding on this wave, you will learn quite a lot, right? And then came, database waves, right? RDBMS came, Informix, Ingress, Sybase, object-oriented database, Illustra, which Informix bought later on, and then Informix was bought by IBM. So these waves got formed. And I was lucky enough to kind of, be there to see these things happening. So that happened. And then fault-tolerant systems came, world's most of the stock exchanges were run on tandem systems. Tandem and Status, they were the fault-tolerant systems of that time. Then internet wave came, right? So then language wars came, C++, C hash, Perl, Python, Ruby, people started jumping around that, right? Operating system wars started coming up, high-end Unixes, AIX, HPUX, Solaris, and then Linux and whatnot. As soon as that war kind of reached to the plateau. Right?
So, like, I mean, it might seem like certain startups do not depend on these waves, but what are the indirect effects? I mean, like, you would have looked at it like that as well, right? Because you are in a company that's maybe not directly related to whatever is happening.
No, it is directly related, right? So if you are in this space, you will get impacted directly or indirectly, like it or not. So let's say deep neural. Today, it's in cybersecurity space, right? So cybersecurity would get impacted. Now, AI security is going to show up.
Definitely. I mean, AI...
And once, quantum computing shows up, most of this traditional security companies of today will get disrupted big time. Some of those will die. Who couldn't innovate and adapt to that, they will die for sure. Some who can anticipate, plan, and see, they will prepare and will be successful. So if you are in this computer industry or high-tech industry, whatever business you're doing, you're going to get impacted directly or indirectly with any new wave that is formed. So that's going to happen for sure.
Right. So do you have any particular procedure saying, I think this is the playbook I follow to anticipate waves? Like, is there something like that? Or
So,
how
okay.
do we go about
So, very raw answer I will give. Keep your eyes open and ears clean. Right? Listen to market, what
Right.
is happening, right? Keep yourself updated with various magazines or various news out there. Who is doing what? Why?
Got it.
If you have your ear to the ground, you will hear, when the earthquake is going to happen.
Nice. Like, I mean, this is kind of hitting me back. So we were able to see that generative AI will take up, I think it was around 2016-17. A bunch of
Yeah.
guys here in my circle, we were sitting together and we were speaking. But when we spoke this to a bunch of people, they were like, stop this nonsense. So, like, and now, like, when ChatGPT came up, everyone is like, oh, wow. So, yeah, nice.
Yeah, interesting example I will give you, right? So I have seen internet from very early days when it started coming up and whatnot. And once internet was out there, then the email started, right? I've seen first few emails which came from Yahoo
Right.
set up it, right? So that time executives used to have that ego. How do you say that I am a senior executive? It's something you will boldly say. I don't use that all this email and those kind of things.
Right.
This is not for me.
Right.
For executives, that steno has to come and take the dictation, type the data and send it to where it has to go. So interestingly, I don't know how much you say that time any executive or manager will have two trays on their table. One is incoming and another is outgoing.
Right.
So the first thing he will do is that, go and look into the incoming tray and see what are those letters in order to read, and then call steno and start typing responses. And then that was kind of, ego of those people that, I am not bothered about this email. Disruption was happening somewhere.
Right.
And you did not recognize it, and you decided to stay out of it. Same thing with AI also, right? A lot of people initially thought, okay, it's not going to realize. It is just kind of, one of the hypes which generally gets formed in high-tech industry,
Yeah.
right? But then you have to make your own judgment, which technology has got more potential and might succeed. And that's the part of your anticipation phase of your journey, right? So anticipate, plan, and execute at the right moment.
Right. So, like, when you end up anticipating,
Mhm.
things get less exciting, right? Like, you don't see a product and you'll be like, wow, because you already anticipated that, okay, possibly this will come. But given all this, in the recent times, is there a product that made you like, oh wow, this is great?
No, AI is obviously generative AI is one of the things which is happening right now and very exciting. And I see there's a lot of potential to that. But it is going to disrupt many areas in high-tech industry, the way we do things as of today. That was there. Machine learning was there for some time, even before that. And I got exposed to that in Symantec's time when I was working at Symantec. So it was nothing more than to start with correlation engines development and whatnot. But then that was a very basic foundation of machine learning. And machine learning got evolved into AI of this space, right? So that's where you would see, when you are anticipating certain things, you will not have a lot of material out there, right? So that's, I would say, is an opportunity to dig further and assess the potential of this new area. Once you get convinced that this has got a huge potential, then you go and participate to make it realize.
Right.
So if you see that as an opportunity, that is going to happen, and then suddenly it's going to benefit the industry, the human life in some form or fashion.
True.
You see opportunity and then start contributing, and not necessarily you'll be successful all the times, but that's okay. But you anticipated, you tried. And later, when it becomes a big wave, you already have foundation on that.
Definitely, yeah. So, like, is there anything unique about this particular wave? Because you have seen a number of waves. Is there anything unique?
This is going to disrupt things in a big way. So see, probably this is not in India, but here, my commute time to work based on the traffic and whatnot is close to 1 hour and 30 minutes, right? It's very common here, right? And by the time you reach to your work, you're somewhat stressed out because of traffic and whatnot. And then while coming back, same story. So the way Tesla is coming up with self-driving solutions, and this is more AI-based, right? I mean, what you have is deep learning in the back end. So now I can drive without my hands on steering.
Yeah, autopilot, yeah.
It makes all decisions. And when I reach at home or at work, I'm not that stressed, not tired. Right?
Right.
So next would be, even if I have to commute for 2 hours or so, I'm just sitting in a taxi or something, right? It's taking me to the direction and I can do whatever I want to do.
Correct.
During that time. So my time is not wasted. So this technology has got huge potential. How it will get evolved, in which form and shape, that still need to be seen. But I would say there is a lot of opportunity for entrepreneurial mindset, create something or something new direction in the space using AI and whatnot. So, or maybe the core AI itself.
Right. So, and for all those people who are thinking that, I mean, the number of companies that are coming out of the whole world is high.
Yeah.
It stands now. There is this bunch of people who are thinking that already a lot of ideas have been captured and there is no more idea left. What is that you'd suggest to them?
No, I wouldn't say no more ideas left. It all depends on your creative mind.
Right.
Where do you see the idea?
Right.
And I'll give you some stats, which I was referring a couple of years back. So particularly in Bay Area, every month, 3,000 new companies are formed. 3,000, right? By end of the year, 2,900 companies will die.
Of the 3,000 per month.
Per month, right? So on an average, multiplied by 12, those companies will die because the idea did not succeed.
That's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so around 95%
of companies survive,
yeah, so remaining companies will last for 5 years. Out of that 5 years, right, and few companies, I would say 3-4 companies get to the 10-year league, and some will become a billion-dollar company and go forward. And many of those also, after 20-25 years, won't be
there.
Right. So this will keep on happening. So there is no shortage of ideas. And some of those companies which failed, they did not execute on that idea appropriately, right? So that brings up opportunity for somebody to jump in and do it right.
Correct.
So I wouldn't say there would be shortage of ideas. Yeah, new ideas will keep on coming, but then existing market space also gives you a lot of opportunity in terms of doing things differently.
Right. So like, and there is this fear again. If we fail, then we are done. Like, I mean, a lot of people think that way. What, like you might have come across people who have failed with companies. Yeah. So what do they usually do in Bay Area or in the US that you see?
Yeah. So I will tell you there are 2 segments in that, right? One thing is that, even fresh engineers who has got some good financial backing from parents or family and whatnot, they take chances right away.
Right.
And nothing wrong with that. They can do that. And if you fail once, you take second chance and you go on that journey, right? One of those chances will make you successful. Right? Not necessarily first chance will make you successful, right? So that second segment, I would say, what they will do is that, they will work for some company, make some base financial foundation so they can take chances. they will take chances after 4 or 5 years of working, or some people take up to 10 years also.
Right.
They will start taking chances. So failure would happen.
They'll go with
Very rarely people will succeed in their first attempt.
Right.
But if you don't fail, you will never learn.
Correct.
Right? So early failures are better rather than you become a $1 billion company and then you fail. Right? So shouldn't be afraid of failure. So
but
then again,
in general, like I am just curious about, I mean, I've seen a bunch of $1 billion companies failing and still the founders of it settling with a decent, I mean, they make a lot of fortune and they settle well.
why? Yeah. Yes, even if they fail, they make money, but then they will not keep quiet. Right? So they will try something else, right? And they might lose some money in that next venture also, but then once you got that spirit of doing something, but first thing they make sure is that there is a financial foundation that failure shouldn't impact their family life, right? So whatever they are responsible for supporting family and all, if that is taken care, they keep on taking chances. Right. And then one of these days they will hit something big. But then if you don't take chances, one thing is quite sure, you will not hit big.
Correct.
You'll always be constrained. That typical mindset in India that I will do a government job and then consistent income will be there, yes, but then you will always be in that range. I still remember some of my friends went into government job and they were very happy. Every year they will get 50 rupees or 100 rupees increment based on the skill at that point in time. But then again, nothing wrong with that also. But then again, you're killing your entrepreneurial spirit, capabilities. You're not using your latent potential to the extent, and you are not contributing to the bigger economy, to the country, or to the people's life. You're not making any difference. You have that capability, but somehow you decided I'm not going to use it. So that's something people shouldn't be doing, I would say. Right? Yeah. Right. Even if you're doing that kind of job, do that, but in parallel, do something else.
Correct.
Right. Do something else, and the day you get that confidence that I got good sufficient financial support, come full-fledged, but do something. Just don't be happy with what you have, and then So there used to be the thinking in the past. You get a government job, you will get to some place, and then there will be a pension to cover the rest of the life. So we should encourage, and I'm very happy to see that in India. Thinking is changing in new generation. Right. They want to do something different.
True.
And that's a good approach. And that's, I'm telling you, in the next 10 to 20 years, India would be not number 3, can reach to number 2. Right. China might become number 1 in terms of economic growth and innovation. India might end up becoming 2. Right. US is reaching to that point where I think growth will be limited, and most of the people will start getting attracted towards India and China. The talent will start shifting towards that.
So, like I was just getting there next. So, I think a lot of people are having this thought that the future in the West is not as great as it used to be. Like there are people living in the West who are thinking like that. And there are people from the East, meaning India and beyond, who are thinking that, again, going there is not that great. So what is your take on this? Like, how should people approach this?
So I will tell you, when that thinking used to be there, I'm going to US or something, or that was more from financial gains point of view to get some financial stability, right? But today, I think people should get out of this thinking Western hemisphere or Eastern hemisphere or whatnot.
True.
It's a global opportunity. Wherever you see an opportunity, go there and do it. Right. And I will tell you, some of my friends at that point in time, early 90s, when mainframe was getting dismantled in Europe and whatnot, they saw that opportunity. I mean, that point in time, if you dismantle the mainframe deployment, they used to pay money. Okay. The companies will pay, dismantle it because it's taking space. We are going with distributed computing with small computers. We don't need that huge real estate for that. So these guys, couple of them in my friend circle, they got into this business. We will come and dismantle, get money from you, and they're all dismantle material. They used to take it to Africa,
Oh,
and
nice.
all those cards and whatnot. They will kind of get loaded on the ship, take it to Africa. They will process it and take out gold out of it. So
Wow.
they did that business, but they did this in Africa because cost of labor was manageable there,
Right.
So, and that impacted into their margins, right? So doesn't matter whether you're doing this in Europe or US or whatnot, or
Right.
Africa or India. If there is an opportunity to make a difference, go there. It's a whole earth is out there for you to
Yeah.
make a difference, right?
So if India has to be better than China, I know this is a very vague question to ask, but if India has to,
I will tell you the biggest problem, and this is my personal opinion, right?
yeah,
The democracies have got this problem, right? That whole 4-year, 5-year term.
right,
See, from a business point of view, right? A management team comes from C-level to next level and whatnot. They start managing business in a certain fashion, take
yeah,
it to the level. Same thing in democracy. A party comes in, they form a government, and they do what they want to do. Next party, opposition party, is also ambitious because they're in that business of politics. So
right,
their whole objective is to get into the power.
true,
They can only get into the power by opposing or creating a narrative in a way that the current government is a failure. Whatever they're doing is wrong.
right,
They form that kind of narrative, and if they win and they come, what they will do, they will dismantle what your government is doing.
yeah, true,
So we'll in that cycle in a democracy, whether it's a US or in US, there is still some consistency. Some policies will continue, but in some other sectors where these democracies are predominant, part of governance, this will keep on happening.
Gets lost.
So whatever you have created, so I will give you this analogy.
Right.
One team comes, their objective is dig the hole. They dig the hole for a specific purpose. The other management team must fill the hole. At the end of the day, surface is flat. So why China has grown? Because there is right or wrong, there is one policy, consistent policy. You may say that is a dictatorship or whatever, but then there is not 180-degree drift in policy. Right? So they go whatever path they are going to quite a length, not redoing the same thing, right? So this is a problem in the way things are being governed. And then one other thing also, in my observation, and it's my opinion, and people can differ on that also. When it comes to electing people, not based on meritocracy, but based on popularity, right? So what happens, the leaders who come are mediocre leaders who will never make strong decisions. They will make decisions which will make people happy. And as people, if you see from different angle, they are part of a system. Yeah, no, they are part of a system, right? The way system works. And the system has got a tendency not to accept the change.
Right.
Not to accept the drastic change. And when you kind of elect a leader, his job should be to make the change, but he gets that force from the internal system of populace that we are not going to accept the change.
It's more
so
like
leader is going
more like a movie,
Yeah. So that's a serious problem. And then what you end up doing, the leaders, even if they have got good intentions, they'll start making incremental changes. Slow changes where system doesn't oppose in a big way.
That's exponential,
Yeah, and this incremental changes take a long time, right? What India should have got into, it could have gone ahead of China.
Right.
But then our growth is incremental growth, not step shift growth, right? So that's another, the whole system itself. And then a lot of things are out there in India. And I'll be very honest. System is not based on meritocracy. Right. It's based on populace. Who is more popular, get that decision-making authority. Right. His job is to keep people happy because he has to come back again.
Interesting. So I mean, I get that. So, like, I mean, there are a bunch of things now. Like, people have access to AI and people have access to tech.
Hmm.
And there is this whole lot of people who are from humble backgrounds who want to make it big.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
were one such person who was in a humble background and
Hmm.
is looking to make it big, what is the path you would actually take?
The first part that as we discussed earlier, right? So first, and that is what I also did, right? So get to some financial stability,
Right.
right? If you have to work, that's fine. Or if even if you have to do business which is much safer.
Got it.
Not necessarily until you don't take a big risk, you don't get a big gain. But take small risk, get average return. That's fine. But once you get to that stability, then start thinking something big.
Right.
But then the risk there, if you take more time in getting to that stable position, you get molded into that more
Yeah.
that
True.
this is the way to go, and then you get into that comfort zone and you you stop taking chances. So you need to be careful about that also, right? So shouldn't get into that comfort zone to the extent that you're not going to take any chances later on. But it is important to get financial stability also, because a lot of people would be dependent on you, right? Your family, your kids' education, and those kind of things. So get to that, but then don't stop there. Then do something which will be more impactful for the whole society.
So I think it's pretty much that. Like, we have covered most part of it, not like in the order it is in this. So, like, okay, one last question. Would you still choose to go abroad and get started, or you would have chosen to be in India? If
So I think, honestly, I will tell you, I had never any intention to get out
right,
of India.
right,
So it just happened. I entered into this industry at that time where nothing much was happening in India.
I get it.
So what to do? So the opportunity fell apart. In that sense, what I was doing, I started getting bored in that sense. What really I was doing, I was not getting an answer to that.
Right.
And then this Texas Instrument opportunity came, and then I said, I can give it a try. So, but I was more keen in continuing in India and making differences there, because there was no shortage of opportunities out there.
Right. Right. So there is one other general mindset that um, you are considered a bigger leader if you end up managing more people, or if you are in a company at a higher position with a large number of
Mhm.
employees. Right. But I am asking you this because you have
Mhm.
constantly taken decisions where
Mhm.
you've gone on
Mhm.
to being with from being in bigger companies with more number of employees to
Mhm.
companies with fewer number of employees. So what
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
that you see in companies, or what is that when you take decisions like this?
So I never go with that number of people who are going to report to me.
Okay.
That is the last thing I will have in mind. That I'm getting into this position to manage this number of people.
Right.
That's not how I make decision. If I'm changing a company, I'm going to any role. What I would be looking for: am I going to make any difference in this role or not?
Hmm.
Right. Uh, So in one of my early careers, I post my MBA. I got a role in a mid-sized company as an intern for a CEO, which
Right.
you see, yeah, you are going to be a personal assistant,
Right.
right? Who is just going behind that CEO with, that time
Planning
it
his
used to be
day.
a
Yeah.
handbook, right? And going in the meetings and standing behind his chair, and he will be capturing notes and whatnot. And that was, I would say, one of the most enriching opportunity I had,
Wow.
because the CEO will come back to office, he will review those notes, and then he will keep on telling me what you would have done if you had to make a decision in that sense, right?
Wow.
So that kind of learning these days, you don't get those kind of opportunities.
True.
But I wouldn't go to any company just from how many people will report to me. I would be okay to get to the same role which I used to have, a, a personal assistant to a CEO who can go as an individual contributor who can go and influence CEO's decisions,
Right.
right? That's where you're making more impact,
Right.
right? So I wouldn't go into a place where I'm just managing 1,000 people, and what I'm doing is just their the reviews, and then filling of their performance reviews. That would be the most boring things I would be doing.
Right. Nice. So, I mean, like real interesting takes on things in the first place, and I could clearly see the, I mean, that NRI lens of India in terms of what could have been done. And I also kind of see like how things should turn out to be with an individual when it comes to doing something like this. So thank you so much, sir. Thanks for the time you took out, and I'm really happy that I mean, we have a long way ahead, given that we have started collaborating already on different lines with BAI and things around that. So thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much for the support, and thanks for taking time out to come on this again. So thank you so much, sir.
No, thanks for the opportunity, and I certainly enjoyed conversation with you.